So today we will discuss first of all the internet layer. Okay. So internet layer is like this will be having a header, that is IP header. Okay, and sometimes we say this is your layer 3 header, correct? L3 header. And the device, we can say your router and L3 switches will take the decision using L3 packet, correct? So they will check the L3 packet and will like take the decision to send the packet out to the neighbor, correct? Any doubt till this point? So about this IP header, whenever let's suppose the device will send a packet out, correct? So at that time it will add a new header in the layer 4 also, in the layer 3 as well, correct? So in the layer 4 we have done like it will add TCP, UDP. Now in the layer 3 what it will add? First of all, what we know, it will just add source IP address and destination IP address, correct? But it will add like other things also. The first of all, the first thing it will add this one. Okay, so first of all, it will add a header. So here it will add the version. Okay, so version will always be 4, always. So whenever I will send an IP header, okay, IPv4 header, so here the version will always be 4, always. Okay, it's clear, guys. And the size of this version is 4-bit. Okay, so whenever the device will send the packet out with the IPv4 header, here the version will always be 4 because this is a IPv4 header. That's why the version will be 4. Okay, any doubt to this point? Next thing, it will add header length. Okay, and the size of header length is again 4-bit. Now, first of all, again the same thing. The size is 4-bit. It means this header length will include header length will include just IP header length excluding data. Okay, so whenever let's suppose we are sending a packet out with the size of 100 byte, okay, so at that time it will add a new header, okay, that is IP header. So the size is 100 byte and the IP header size will be around 20 byte. So total it will send 120 bytes to the neighbor. Okay, so header length is the header length excluding your data. Okay, and the size is 4-bit. And first of all, in this one, as I told you, the size is 4-bit. It means what we can do, total number of values we can have. How many values we can have here? 16 values. Okay, so we can put here in this 4-bit length, we have to inject 20 bytes to, any idea the last size of the header? Any idea? 20 to 60 bytes. Okay, so we have to put these 20 to 60 bytes into a 4-bit length. Again, how we can put? Again, the increment of, okay, in the TCP header we have done this thing, remember? In the TCP header we did this thing like the header length, that was a combination of like increment of 5 bytes, right? Same here, this is an increment of 5 byte. One bit represent 5 bytes. Okay, it means if I will show you, let's suppose we are sending a 20 bytes packet. So at that time, the device will show me, sorry, it's a 4-bit. So the device will show me the number 5. It means it will add, it will do like 0 1 0 1, like this it will add, right? Because this is your 5, 1 2 and 4. So 4 and 1 is enabled, right? So these 2 bits are on, it means the number is 5. So whenever the device will send the packet out and the size is 20 bytes, it means the size in the header length will be like this. Okay, it is clear. So guys, any doubt in the header length? It's clear to all of you. And the last value will be 60. It means, let's suppose I want to represent 60 bytes. Okay, so I have to divide the 60 byte into by 4. Okay, so what value I can have here? Tell me. What value I can have here? The answer will be 15, correct? It means if I want to show the 15 bits, so how I can show 1 1 1 1 1, right? I will enable all the bits. It means if I will show you 20 bytes, I can just use 0 1 0 1. If I want to show you 60 bytes, the maximum size, I can use all the 1, right? So like this, I can explain like the header will explain the bytes. Okay. So any doubt to this point? So what I will do here, I will send a packet out. I will draw a diagram. Okay, I will use GNS3 and will show you this thing, the IP header. Okay, or what I can do, I can use my real Wireshark. I'll capture my Wi-Fi LAN card. This is a Wi-Fi network. So let me open any packet. Okay, so this is my IP header, right? And look here. The header length size is 20 bytes and I can see the representation of the 20 bytes is 0101, correct? That is true. It is clear. So whenever the device will like show me the header length, that will be in the increment of 4 bytes always. Okay, it is clear, guys. Any doubt to this point? This is all about the header length. Voice is breaking to all of you guys. Just give me 2 minutes, huh? Just 2 minutes. Okay. So this is all about the header length. Okay, so whenever the device will show me the header length, that will always be in the increment of 4 bytes. Okay, always. Now, the next thing. The next is, this is called as toss bit. Okay, what is toss? Type of services. Okay, so and the size of this is 8-bit. Okay, toss, this is your type of services. Okay, the size is 8 bits. So guys, any idea like in what condition, in what scenario we can use these toss bits and why we need these toss bits? Any idea? Guys, any idea? Please tell me. What is the use of toss bit, type of services, and where we can use? Okay, let me explain. So first of all, what we can do, we can set the priority, right? So to set the priority to data, we can use toss bits. Okay, type of services bits. Sometimes we say this as quality of services. Okay, so this topic, yes, we have in the CCNA and we'll discuss in the deep. Okay, so as I told you here, how many bits we have here? 8 bits. Okay, it means like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, so by default whenever we send the packet out, okay, by default all the values will be 0. Okay, now in these 8 bits we can use first 3 bits to set priority to the data. Okay, so we can use first 3 bits to set the priority to the data. Okay, and the remaining 5 bits we cannot use. Okay, so the remaining 5 bits we cannot use. It means those 5 bits are reserved. It means how many bits we can use? First of all, how many bits we have? We have 8 bits to set the priority. Okay, but we can just use 3 bits. Okay, now if we have 3 bits, so how many combination we can have? Any idea? Guys, just reply me, please. Yes or no? Okay, 8 combination, right? So first of all, first value we can have 000, right? The second value we can have 001. The third value we can have 010. The fourth value we can have this one. The fourth value we can have 011. The third value we can have 100. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like this we can have, right? So how many values we have? 8 values. This is reserved as routine class. Okay, so whenever we send a packet out, by default the value will always be 0000000. Okay, so whenever I will send a ping packet or any other packet, by default the value will be 0000. um okay. Okay, now my I'm audible to all of you. Sunil, Raju, Sunita, Rupali. Okay, so first of all the class is routine class. Okay, basically whenever we send a packet out, by default that will always be reserved as 00000. Okay, so let me show you one packet. So here as I can see 00, let me open this one. 00000, everyone is 0, right? All these bits, all these 8 bits are 0000, correct? So it will be 0000 for the routine class. It means for all the default traffic. We can say for all the default traffic that will be 0000 always. Now the second one, this one is your priority. The name is priority. Okay, the third one, the name is, here we have immediate. Okay, the name here we have um flash. This is the name flash override. This is just a name. Okay, and here we have critical. Then here we have inter network control. And then finally, here we have network control. And what we say here, basically, first of all, this priority, yes, we can use, we are allowed to use. We can use. Same here, yes, we can use. Okay. Flash, yes, we can use. Flash override, yes, we can use. Critical, that is reserved for voice traffic. Okay, so whenever, let's suppose we are using IP phone. Okay, so at that time automatically the router or the device will add a critical bit at the time. Okay, so it will add 1010000 to your voice traffic. So that is reserved for the voice traffic. Okay, critical. Okay, and this one is reserved for your um reserved for all L3 routing protocol. Okay, and the last one, the network control, is reserved for all L2 routing protocol. It is clear, guys. So the first one, that is reserved for the default traffic. Okay. The critical is reserved for the voice traffic. Inter-network control is reserved for the layer 3 routing protocols, and the network control is reserved for the L2 routing protocols. Okay. Not routing, L2 protocols. It is clear, guys. And what we say, the name is, these are my IP precedence values. Okay. So these bits, we say these 3 bits are reserved for IP precedence values. Okay. So this is your IPP 0. Okay. Then we have IPP 1. Then we have IPP 2, IPP 3, IPP 4, 5, 6, and last one is 7. Okay, guys. So how many values we have? Total values we have 8, correct? Now, as I told you, we have 8 bits. 8 bits are reserved for, so 8 bits are reserved for toss. And again, from these 8 bits, we cannot use 5 bits. So how many bits we can use? We can use just 3 bits. Again, those 3 bits are having 8 values, right? So 3 bits are having 8 values, right? Again, on those 8 values, we cannot use IPP 0 because that is 0000, right? We cannot use IPP 5, that is for the voice traffic. We cannot use IPP 6, that is for the layer 3 routing protocols. And the last one is IPP 7, that is for the L2 protocol, right? So it means from those 8 bits, how many values we can use? We can just use 4 values to set priority to the data. Okay, so it means from those 8 bits, what I can do, I can just use 4 values to set the priority to my data. It is clear, guys? And these are called as my IP precedence values. Okay, it is clear, guys? Any doubt to this point? So we can use IP precedence value 1, 2, 3, and 4 to set the priority to the data. That's it. Okay. Now, the next is reserved for total length. So here what we have, total length. So the size is 16 bit. Okay. So the size is 16 bit. So this total length will be having the size is 16 bit. It means we can have a value from 0 to 65535, right? And this will include header length and data length. Okay. The header length will just include the header length, but the total length will include your header plus your data length. Okay. It is clear, guys? Any doubt to this point? Guys, tell me, any doubt till this point? Okay, it's clear to all of you guys. If you have any issues, just tell me. I can start again, no problem. Just tell me. If you have any doubt, I can explain again. Okay. Now, so the first line we have done, now the second line. Okay, before second, I will discuss first of all the third line. Okay. This line I will discuss. This is divided into 3 parts. Okay. Here we have TTL and the size is 8 bits. Now let's discuss what is TTL. This is your time to live, right? And the size is always 8 bits. Okay, it means whenever I will send a packet out, it will include the TTL value and the size is 8 bits. It means we can have a value from 0 to 255. Okay. Now the question is, what is the use of TTL value? Basically, we use TTL to prevent loop in a L3 network. Okay. So let's suppose what I want to prevent a loop in the L3 network. Okay, let me draw a design. So let's suppose we have 4 routers. Okay. This is R1, R2, R3, and R4. Okay. And here we have a user that is having IP address 10.0.0.1 that want to communicate to address that is 5.5.5.5. Okay. So due to any mistake or due to any misbehavior routing protocol, what we have, R1 is having best path to reach 5.5.5, that is via R2. Okay. R2 is also having the best path to reach 5.5.5, that is via R4. Okay. Same R4 is having a best path to reach 5.5.5, that is via R3. And R3 is also having a best path to reach 5.5.5, that is via R1. It means I will be having a loop here. Whenever R1 will get a packet to reach 10.10 what it will do, it will send the packet out to R2. It will check the table and it will find, okay, R4 is the best router. So it will send the packet out here. And same here, it will receive the packet. Again, R3 will send the packet out here. And I will be having a loop, endless loop, correct? But just to prevent this loop, what we have, this TTL value, okay? So once this router will send the packet out here, okay, the TTL value will be 255. Okay, so here it will be 255, and at each hop the routers will decrement the value by 1. It means whenever R2 will send the packet out here, the value will be 254. Okay, same here, whenever R4 will send the packet out to R3, the value will be 253, and same here the value will be 252. And once the routers will keep doing the same task, then what will happen? At last the value will be 0. Okay, so at last the value will be 0. Then what will happen? If the TTL value falls below 0 or 1, we can say, okay, then the packet will not be routable, never. Okay, if a router get a packet with TTL value 1, so first of all it will decrement by 1, right? And the value will be 0, so that router will drop the packet. Okay, so once a value is 0, the router will drop the packet and will never forward the packet out to the next neighbor. It means using this TTL value, what we can do, we can prevent a loop in the L3 network. Okay, so guys, any doubt till this point? I think the TTL value is clear, correct, to all of you. So once we start routing, okay, and then I will show you like how we can create a loop and how we can prevent. I will show you everything. Right now we have not done routing part, so I cannot show you. Okay, but yes, once we start the routing, so I can show everything. Okay, we will work on the quality of services. We will work on this loop, the TTL value. We will see everything we can see. Okay, and in these packets, let me show you one thing. In this packet, um, can you just see this value 128? Okay, so first of all, this TTL value is depend on the platform. Okay, let's suppose if I will do a ping using my Cisco device. Okay, so at that time the TTL value will be 255. Okay, let's suppose we are using Microsoft platform. So sometimes it use 128, sometimes it use 64. Okay, It is clear. So that's depend on the platform. Okay. So if I will be using Cisco device to do a ping, always the TTL value will be 255. In the Microsoft, it can be 128, it can be 64. Okay. And if I'll talk about the Linux and the Mac operating system, so again, if the platform is different, the TTL value will be different. Okay. But the size will be same. Okay. If I'll talk about Cisco, if I'll talk about Microsoft, the size will be 8-bit. The maximum value we can have 255. The minimum value we can have 1. That's it. Okay. If the value falls below 1, it means at that time the packet will be dropped. Okay. So guys, any doubt in the TTL? Okay. Now let's start the next thing. After TTL, what we have? Protocol field. The size is 8-bit. Okay. Now what is this protocol field? The size is 8-bit. Okay. So using this field, device will let us know what is the upper layer information. It means, let's suppose I will add ICMP whenever we do a ping. Okay. So in the ping packet, the routers use ICMP protocol, correct? So whenever I will do a ping, so the routers use ICMP packet. Okay. And for the ICMP, the protocol number is 1. Okay. If I will talk about, um, if I talk about a protocol, let's suppose that is EIGRP, we will discuss this one. The protocol number is 88. Okay. If I talk about OSPF protocol, we'll discuss this one as also. The protocol number will be 89, like this. So whenever, let's suppose we are doing a ping, so how the routers will send the packet out? First of all, it will add ICMP packet. Okay. And then it will add IP header. In the IP header, it will put protocol number 1. Okay. So once the device will put the protocol number 1, what it will do, it will get to know the upper layer is ICMP. If that is 88, it means the device will get to know the upper layer is having EIGRP packet. If that is 89, that will get to know the upper layer is having OSPF packet. Okay. This is clear, guys. Okay. Now, next thing. Header checksum. The size is 16-bit. Okay, Shubham, I will repeat the same task again. So right now we have this protocol field just to um, get the information of upper layer, we can say. Okay, whatever information we have about the upper layer, who will tell me? The protocol number will tell me, because a device will always understand the numbers, right? So whenever I will send a packet out, let's suppose we are doing a ping packet, we are sending a ping. Okay, so at the time the router will encapsulate the ICMP packet, correct? And the protocol number is 1 for the ICMP. Okay, and whenever, let's suppose they will add EIGRP, OSPF, so all of these protocols are layer 3 protocols. Okay, so these protocols we use on the layer 3, and the protocol number will be 188, 89. So whenever the device will create a packet, let's suppose we are sending a EIGRP packet. Okay, so first of all it will put EIGRP. Okay, then it will add a IP header. So it will add 88. Okay, what is ping? Ping is a protocol that we use to check the connectivity between two devices. Okay, let's suppose we have two routers. Okay, I want to check the connectivity. So what I will do, I will be using this protocol, ping protocol, to check the connectivity. Okay, Shubham, that is clear. So whenever the device will add a layer 3 protocol, it will add the protocol number also in the IP header. Okay, Shubham, it's clear now. Okay. Now the next thing is header. Guys, just give me 1 minute. Huh? I'm getting a call. Hello. Okay, so the header checksum, first of all, the size is 16-bit. Okay, so again, we can have a value from 0 to 65535, correct? So we can have a value from 0 to 6535. Again, this is same as like as our TCP checksum. Okay, so again, each layer will run a checksum. Okay, we'll find an error, right? So let's suppose so is used to check errors in packet. Okay, how? Let me show you. So let's suppose this is your R1 and this is your R2. R2. Okay. Now R1 wants to do a ping to R2. Okay. So at that time, it will try to send a ping packet, correct? So once R1 will send a ping packet, so before sending a ping packet, it will add an IP header, as I told you, right? So at the time, it will again run a checksum on the IP header and will find a value. Let's suppose the value is, let's suppose we are having 10 object in the IP header. Okay, so the answer is, let's suppose 50. So once R2 will receive the packet, it will again run the checksum. Okay, if the value is exactly same as 50, let's suppose again R2 will run a checksum on the header. If the values match, R2 will receive the packet. If not, then R2 will drop the packet. Okay, this checksum is clear, guys. Routers will run checksum for all the layers. If I talk about layer 2, if I talk about layer 3, layer 4, yes, for all the layers, they will be having on mechanism to find the error on the same header. Okay, it is clear, guys. Hello, guys, just tell me. It is clear. Sunil, like, just tell me your issue. Okay. Basically, this checksum, the same thing we have done in the TCP. Okay. Whenever a device will send the packet out, let's suppose, let me clarify this thing. Let's suppose in the IP header, what we have first of all version. Okay. And we have header length. Okay. Let's suppose we have total header length and we have TTL value. We also have qualitative services bits. Okay. So let's suppose we are using a mechanism that is the mechanism use a concept of adding of these content. Let's suppose in the version, how many bits we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is example. Okay, 7. What here we have in the header again we have 6, and here we have 5, 3, and 3. Like so, in these three things, in the these 5 things, what we have 7 character, 6 character, 5, 3, 3, right? And the combination is, so the combination will be 24. Okay, so what it will do, it will run a checksum on these information and will find a value. So let's suppose the answer is 24. Okay, now due to any collision here, R2 is not able to receive the version field. Okay, so at that time it will just receive the remaining part. So at that time, due to collision, it will just receive these things, correct? So what R2 will do, and one more thing, it will also receive a checksum value. So in this header, they will be having a checksum, and the answer is 24. So R2 will run a checksum on only on these 4 things, not on the checksum again. Okay, and the answer will be like, so right now the answer will be 17, right? So the answer is 17. It will verify with this one. If the value is same, so yes, I can accept the packet. If the value is different, it means I will get to know there is some issue in the packet. I don't have I don't have the full information. I need to get the packet again from the neighbor, right? So the device will drop the packet. Okay, like this, the devices will check the checksum. This checksum algorithm is just example. Sorry, it's clear. This is just example, okay? Because the routers and this layer 3, layer 4 will be having a different mechanism to find a checksum value, and that will be a hexadecimal format, okay, not a decimal format. It is clear, guys? Sunil, it is clear to you? Sunil, any doubt? How would destination know the checksum value should be as same as sender? Basically, whenever R2, the destination will receive the packet, that packet itself will be having a checksum that is calculated by R1, okay? And once R2 will receive, this will get to know, okay, we are using a layer 3 header. So on the layer 3, we are using a mechanism of adding the numbers, okay? So at the time, at the same time, R1, R1, R2, they both will be having this information. We have to add the number, right? Example, this example. So they both will do the same task. So whenever R1 will add the number, it will put that value in the checksum, and again whenever R2 will do a addition of these four things, it will find a number. If both values are same, then only it will receive the packet, okay? There is a mechanism basically for the checksum, like if the value is same, it will receive. If that is different, it will not receive, okay, Sunil? Okay, now next thing, we have source IP address. The size will be 32 bits. So about the IP addresses, we'll discuss, okay? So whenever a device will like create a packet, it will add the source address, right? And then it will add a 32-bit destination IP address. Correct? And then finally, it will add some options. If you want to send extra information, then it will add options. So about the options, once we start like the routing protocols, then we can see those options, okay? It will add the options if have, and then finally it will add the data. Now what we have in these fields, we'll explain. Okay, just tell me, any doubt in these things? Because now this line will be the main part of this IP header, very main part, okay? Okay. So this is divided into two parts, three parts, sorry. First of all, here we have identification. The size is 16-bit, okay? And here we have fragmented offset. The size is 13-bit, okay? And the final here we have some flag. Okay, the size is 3-bit. Okay, so let's discuss first of all the flag. Okay, the size is 3-bit. Now, the size is 3-bit. So right now, basically we have 3 bits reserved. So first of all, first will be 0. That will always be reserved. Okay, the second bit is that can be 0, that can be 1. The name is M. What is M? This is more. Okay, the next bit can be 0, can be 1. This is your DF bit. DF. What is DF? Do not fragment. Okay. So the first will be reserved, will always be 0. The second can be 0, can be 1. That is a more bit. The last one is DF. Do not fragment. That can be 0, that can be 1. Now what is more meaning? If more is 0, it means that is last packet. of the stream. Okay, if more bit is 1, that is not the last packet of the stream. So using this more bit, the device will get to know this is the last packet of the stream, or maybe second last, third last. Okay, so guys, this one is clear, the more bit. If that is 0, that is the last packet. If that is not 0 or that is 1, that is not the last packet. Okay, it is clear, guys. Sunil, it is clear to you? Raju, HP, Abdul, these things are clear to all of you. Now, what is DF bit? DF is, okay, if DF bit is 1, so basically the default DF bit is 0. Okay, so default will be 0. It means all of the guys can do the fragmentation. If DF bit is 1, the routers cannot do more fragment. Okay, if DF bit is 0, the routers, the transit routers can do the fragmentation. Okay, now we'll explain this thing. So today we will discuss the theory part about these three things, about the flag, about the identification and the fragmented offset. Okay, so tomorrow we'll do the practical. Okay, today we'll just discuss the theory part. Let's suppose your R1, R2, R3. Just 1 minute, guys. Okay, so we have, let's suppose, 3 routers. Okay, guys, do you have any idea about MTU? Any idea? What is MTU? This is called your maximum transmission unit, correct? So basically this is size. So by default it will be 1500 bytes. Okay, it means a device can send a packet out with a maximum size of 1500 bytes. Okay, it means MTU, this is a maximum transmission unit. So it will be 1500 here, it will be 1500 here. That's it. Okay, so let's suppose R1 want to send some packets to R3, and it will send a packet with a size of 3000 bytes. Okay, and right now the DF bit is 0. It means all of the routers can do the fragmentation. So once R2 will receive the packet, it will check, I'm getting a packet of 3000 bytes, and the MTU is of my interface, MTU is 1500. It means I have to break the packet into 2 parts, and it will also check the DF bit. So DF bit is 0. It means yes, I can do. Okay, it means this device can do the fragmentation. If DF bit is 1, so once R2 will receive the packet, it will check, okay, the MTU is 1500, but I'm getting a packet with the size of 3000 bytes. It means I have to do the fragmentation in 2 parts, but as I can see, the DF bit is 1. It means I'm not able to do the fragmentation. I have to drop the packet at that time. Okay, it is clear. So we have 2 things here. If MTU is lower, so the router will drop the packet. If DF bit is 1, okay, so if the DF bit is 1, so the router will drop the packet. Okay, if not, so yes, the router can send the packet out to the neighbor. Okay, this is your DF bit. So I think the flags are clear, right, to all of you? Any doubt till this point? Guys, quick, please. I need to go. Okay, now the next thing is identification. Okay, So as I told you, the size is 16 bits. So what this identification field will do? So first of all, identification and fragmented offset will work together. How? Identification will keep the data separate, and this fragmented offset will be using to rearrange the data. Okay, it is clear. So the identification field we will be using to keep the separate to keep the data separate, and fragmented offset will be using to rearrange the data. Okay, now, and first of all, who can rearrange the data? Only and device can do this task. Okay, the transit routers cannot do this task, never. Okay, now how the communication will happen here? Let's suppose we have router here. Okay, this is another router. Here we have PC. This is the main part of this IP header. Here is let's suppose this PC is sending a packet with the name JNT. Okay, and this PC is sending a packet with the name ABC. Okay, and this interface MTU is one single packet. This is example. Okay, I'm taking example. So let's suppose this MTU is one character per packet. Okay, let me. So right now, from this interface, I can just send a single word. Okay. So what it will do, it will send the first. Okay. So it will receive JNT, it will receive ABC. So what it will do the fragmentation. Correct. So it will keep sending. So once it will do the fragmentation of JNT, right? So it will receive JNT, it will receive here ABC. Correct. So whenever this device will try to send the packet out from this interface separately, okay, what it will do, it will add an identification field. So let's suppose it will send J. So it will add, let's suppose 15. Now, once it will send N, it will add the same number. Once it will send T, it will add the same number, that is 15. And for the ABC, let's suppose it is using the number, identification number, that is 99. For the B also, it will use 99. For the C also, it will use 99. And let's suppose the packet is not in the sequence. Okay. So this is here, or let's say once this router will receive the packet. So this is receiving the packet like A, T, N, B, J, and C. Like this device is receiving the packet. Now how this device will rearrange the packet and how this device will take the separate data. So it will check. With A, I'm getting 99. With T, I'm getting 15. With N, I'm getting 15 again. With B, I'm getting 99. With J, I am getting 15. And with C, I'm getting 99. Right? Like this. Okay. So what it will do? It will use A. Okay. A is 99. So it will put like this. All the 99, all the 15. So it will put A here. Then it will put T here. Right. Then it will put N here. Then it will put, sorry. Here it will put N. Right. And then here it will put B. And then C here. And it will put here J. Okay. Now, this is the identification field. One more thing it will add fragmented offset. So whenever it will send the first packet, it will add 0 here. The second packet, it will add 1. The third packet, it will add 2. Okay. Same here. It will add 0. It will add 1 here. It will add 2 here. Okay. So it will check. Okay. So this is 0. This is 1. This is 2. So it will rearrange the data. Okay. Same for T and J. So for T, it has 2. For N, it has 1. It has 0. So what it will start using like from 0. It will put like J, first of all, 0 number. then it will put n, then it will put t like this. Okay. So using the fragmented offset, it will, okay, and using identification field, it will keep the data separate. Okay. And how the device will get to know that is last packet? So that last packet will be having m bit 0, right? In this packet, the m bit will be 1, and the next, it in this one, this will be 1. Same here. In this one, m bit will be 1, m bit will be 1, and here the m bit will be 0. So once the device will see, okay, m bit is 0 here, okay, and same in the j, that is 0, right? Sorry, that is t. So in the t, that bit is 0. So it will get to know this is the last packet from the stream. Okay. So this is the work of identification and fragmented offset. Okay, guys. Any doubt till this point? So identification we use to keep the data separate. Fragmented offset we use to rearrange the data in a proper form. Okay. And the flag we use, the more flag we use to identify that is the last packet or not. Because yes, at this time, this device should know that is the last packet or not, correct? Because it has to close the stream, right? So this is all about identification, fragmented offset. Tomorrow we will discuss the practical. Okay. So tomorrow we'll do the practical of all of these three things. Okay. We will see the TTL value again. We will see the fragmented offset, identification, more flag. We'll see. We will set the DF bit also. We'll do all the things. Okay. So guys, if you have any doubt, just tell me. Everything is clear to all of you guys. Okay, so for today, I have to wind up. Okay, I have a call now. So, yeah, tomorrow we'll discuss again. Don't worry, Gulshan. Okay. Again, we'll discuss on this one. Okay. Okay, guys. Bye. Take care.